Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today, well, it takes us right into the heart of this huge financial puzzle, the state of commercial gaming right now. You hear the headlines, see the big numbers, and think the casino industry is absolutely booming, setting records nationally. But then you walk onto an actual slot floor in a traditional casino, and honestly, you sense this quiet, almost dramatic struggle happening.
It really is a paradox, isn't it? Hidden behind these giant revenue figures. I mean, take the first quarter of 2024, total commercial gaming revenue hit, what, $17.67 billion?
A huge number.
Exactly. And that's a 5.6% increase over the previous year, which sounds really healthy. But here's the catch. Almost every single bit of that growth, it's coming from digital platforms, online sports betting, iGaming. They're basically propping up the numbers and, kind of masking what's really happening at the big destination resorts, the places we usually picture.
Right, and that's the core conflict we're diving into today. It's this battle, really, for your money. Is it the multi-billion-dollar glamour of a destination casino resort? Or is it just the sheer ease of betting from your couch? Or maybe tapping a screen at a nice, clean local spot just 5 minutes away? We need to figure out who's actually winning this new game. So if we agree it's convenience versus this destination opulence model, where are the cracks showing most clearly? I think it has to be Atlantic City, right? It's always been a kind of bellwether for the East Coast. And the sources we looked at show a really immediate, pretty profound shift there. Like in October 2024, in-person gaming, down a painful 8.5% year over year.
Yeah, 8.5%. That's a drop from about $228 million down to roughly $208 million in just physical play.
Yeah.
Significant.
And the overall picture looks okay.
Well, that's the fascinating part. The digital side completely masks that physical decline. Even with fewer people gambling in person, Atlantic City's total gaming revenue still finished strong. It was up 9% overall. Why? Because, as the report said, in no small part, due to really strong internet gaming and sports betting. And here's the kicker. For the very first time in AC's history, revenue from internet gaming actually beat the land-based operations.
Wow, so the future is literally online while the physical side shrinks.
Seems that way. It's like pouring lighter fluid on the digital fire.
And this brings up a really critical point about, well, accountability. Where does that online money actually go? When the growth comes from these third-party online providers, does it even benefit Atlantic City itself? The local government, the infrastructure, it's not quite the same as the traditional casino taxes, is it?
Exactly. That's a major concern critics raise. A lot of that cash flows out to those third-party companies. And look, this isn't just an AC thing. It's happening nationally. Across the whole U.S., traditional land-based casino revenue, it only saw a tiny 0.3% increase year over year in Q1 2024.
0.3%. That's basically flat.
Pretty much, yes. March set an all-time monthly record, $4.46 billion in gross gaming revenue, or GGR. But GGR just tells us the total amount wagered minus winnings paid out. It doesn't tell the whole story of where it came from.
Okay, so where did that tiny bit of physical growth come from then?
Right, when you drill down into that national number, the physical growth, it was almost entirely driven by table games. They were up 3.0%. And that small table game increase just barely offset a slight decline in slot machine revenue nationwide, down 0.1%.
Wait, slots declined. But aren't slots usually the main engine? The big money maker?
Traditionally, yes. That's what's so telling. The anchor of the casino floor is maybe not sinking, but it's definitely stalling. It really suggests that, the convenience and maybe the psychological pull of digital slots is finally starting to beat the physical machines.
Okay, so the old model seems, well, shaky. How are the physical places adapting? How are they fighting back? If slots are stalling, they must be doing something strategic. Let's look at Vegas' Strip versus the local spots. That seems like a clear contrast.
Oh, it's a huge split right there in the heart of the industry. The big Strip resorts, they showed some clear challenges. Caesars, for example, reported a 3.7% drop in year-over-year revenue for their main Strip properties.
Okay, so the giants are feeling it, but the local places?
The locals are crushing it, absolutely booming. Red Rock Resorts, they reported the highest quarterly adjusted net revenue in their entire 49-year history. And that was driven almost entirely by their local Las Vegas operations, places like the new Durango station.
That's fascinating. And the sources pinpoint why locals are winning.
Right.
It seems like a total rejection of that old Strip model.
It really does. It comes down to simple convenience. People don't want to fight traffic, pay for parking, deal with crowds just for a quick visit.
And it's not just convenience. It's what the mega resorts maybe got wrong. They tried to monetize every single part of the experience.
That seems to be a factor. The local successes, like Durango, they have strong non-gaming stuff, good restaurants like Herbs Burgers, things people actually want locally. But honestly, the fact that free parking keeps coming up as a key competitive advantage,
Yeah.
it just tells you how much the high cost and general hassle of the Strip experience might be pushing away that steady, reliable local customer.
And you can almost see this shift reflected in the actual design of the casinos over time.
Mhm.
You had the old guard, like Bill Friedman, whose designs were all about one thing,
Yeah.
maximizing gambling time and money.
Right. The low ceilings, no windows, confusing maze-like layouts.
Designed to trap you, basically.
Pretty much. Slot machines were the decor. It was all aimed at the quote-unquote serious gambler who didn't want any distractions.
And then you get the complete opposite philosophy. People like Roger Thomas designing the Bellagio.
Totally different. High ceilings, big open spaces, natural light flooding in, pure opulence, and a huge focus on non-gaming things. Fancy shops, fine dining, spectacular shows. In fact, the Bellagio was famously the first Vegas resort where the money coming from non-gaming actually beat the gaming revenue.
So the Bellagio model proved you needed to be an entertainment destination first, and gambling was just one, albeit beautiful, part of it, a total flip.
Yeah.
But even with that shift, and even though table games are growing lately, the sources still say slot machines are the biggest moneymaker overall.
Oh, absolutely. They remain the financial anchor, no question.
Why is that? What's the enduring appeal?
It's deeply psychological, I think. Slots offer this illusion of strategy or control, even though it's random. They tap into our brain's pattern-seeking tendencies. Plus, they're simple. No complex rules, no real social pressure like at a craps table. Just you and the machine.
Efficient access to the thrill.
You could say that.
And this efficiency focus seems to align perfectly with the demographic shift we're seeing. The data shows the average age of a casino visitor dropped quite a bit, down to 42.4 years old in 2022 from nearly 50 back in 2019.
Yeah, that's a significant drop.
And this younger player, maybe they're less interested in the $30 cocktail or the fading headliner act. The sources suggest that before the pandemic, most visitors were there mainly for non-gaming fun. Now, it's about half who say they visit primarily or mostly to gamble.
So a younger customer base, and one that's much more focused on the actual gambling product itself.
Okay, let's pivot now to this really high-stakes situation brewing on the East Coast, New York City. They're in the process of selecting up to 3 locations for massive new commercial casino resorts downstate. The decision is expected by the end of 2025. And the proposed investments, the bids involved, they are just astronomical. We're talking $3.4 billion on the low end, up to potentially $11.1 billion for one proposal, Freedom Plaza.
$11 billion. It's a staggering bet on the physical destination casino model, especially when, as we've just discussed, all the trends seem to be pointing towards convenience, digital access, and local preference.
Exactly. How can developers possibly justify risking that much capital on a physical resort model that seems to be facing headwinds nationally?
Well, maybe they shouldn't. We only need to look slightly north at New York's upstate casinos for a pretty sobering cautionary tale. Remember those 4 licenses awarded back in 2015, 2016?
Vaguely, yeah. How did they pan out?
Not great, according to the
Okay.
projections. The sources confirm that none of the 4 hit their original gross gaming revenue targets for 2019. None of them. And by 2022, only one, Tioga Downs, had actually met its original local government gaming tax projection. The others, they only brought in about 50% to 60% of what they promised the local towns.
Ouch. And that shortfall must create massive problems for the towns that host these places, especially if they become dependent on that projected revenue. Let's look at the town of Tyre, home to the Del Lago Casino. Initially, things looked amazing for them, right? They got so much gaming tax money they cut local real property taxes by like 64% between 2017 and 2018. Huge relief for residents.
A complete game changer for the town budget initially. But then, COVID hit in 2020, the casino shut down, the revenue stream just vanished overnight, and the town was left scrambling. The financial chaos meant they had to temporarily override their own property tax cap just to stay afloat. And to make up for the lost casino money, Tyre ended up increasing real property taxes by 243% the following year.
243%. That perfectly illustrates the intense volatility, the risk when a local economy gets hooked on gaming taxes that might not materialize.
Precisely. It's a huge gamble for the towns themselves.
And the threat isn't just a sudden shock like a pandemic. It's also this slow, creeping threat from the continuous expansion of online gaming, especially in New York itself.
That's arguably the biggest long-term worry for any new physical casino there. We already saw what happened when New York launched mobile sports betting. The impact was immediate. New Jersey, right next door, saw its sports betting revenue drop 6.5% in 2022 alone, largely because New Yorkers could suddenly bet from home. And for those upstate New York casinos, mobile betting absolutely cannibalized their own in-house sports books. Their GGR from sports wagering plunged 66% between 2021 and 2022.
66% gone, just like that, because of mobile convenience. And the next big step, the next shoe to drop, could be even more impactful. There's talk of legalizing full online casino games, iGaming.
Yes, a bill to authorize online interactive gaming, think slots, table games, poker, all on your phone or computer is being considered. And here's the critical part for those potential downstate casinos and their host communities. The bill, in its current form, doesn't include a specific tax component that goes directly back to the local governments.
So even if iGaming passes and overall state revenue goes up, the local towns hosting the physical casinos could actually see their tax revenue shrink significantly.
That's the fear. If iGaming keeps more people at home, reduces foot traffic to the physical casinos, it could gut local gaming taxes, even while the state celebrates record online revenue. The state might win, but the host community could lose again.
So wrapping this all up, what's the key takeaway here for you, our listener? It seems the casino industry is navigating this massive, maybe even fundamental transition. Yeah, the national revenue figures look strong, but that's largely propped up by digital growth, compensating for the struggles of the big destination properties. The customer, especially the younger one, seems more focused on gambling itself and really values access, convenience, local options, even free parking, maybe over the glibs of the old destination model.
Yeah.
Which makes those multi-billion-dollar bets on new physical resorts in New York City feel like a truly gigantic, high-risk gamble against the prevailing winds.
And we can't forget the constant competitor that operates completely outside these regulated markets. Unregulated, illegal gaming is estimated to pull in something like $44.2 billion in revenue every year.
Wow, how does that compare to the legal market?
That $44 billion is almost 75%, three-quarters of the entire amount generated by the legal commercial casino industry back in 2022. So the legal casinos aren't just fighting each other or online platforms, they're constantly battling this huge shadow market too.
That's a really powerful point to end on. So much money flowing outside the system entirely. Okay, final thought then. We've seen evidence that the average casino visitor today is perhaps more focused primarily on gambling than on all the surrounding entertainment. So if the core product really is just the wager itself, and the digital market offers maximum convenience and generates huge revenue, how much non-gaming sparkle, how much sheer physical extravagance can really justify building an $11 billion resort when the game itself is becoming more efficient, more local, and maybe entirely inside the gambler? Something to think about next time you see one of those massive casino skylines.